Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away, in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
In 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reach the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City.
tune in.
And join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right there, how are we doing? Hey, well, if you believe the papers, and let's face it, you buy your paper of choice, you take your choice. Brendan's in, Brendan's out. Brendan's shaking it all about. Welcome along. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. You can catch us on YouTube live at Leicester Till I Die TV, as I say. And if you are listening on catch up on podcast, thank you so much for the listens. It really does help. This is where you can find us.
Watch us on YouTube
Listen on your favourite podcast platform
or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Anybody who was watching yesterday, in fact, will know we did a programme on what is wrong at Leicester. Obviously, a lot of the talk was about Brendan. And there's a lot of talk in the paper today that if Liverpool beat us tomorrow, could be he's out the window. He's out the window. He's out the door. You know what? I think it's a bit dramatic, and I don't, you know my view on it. What's the point in changing the manager now? Is it third season syndrome? And will he get over that if he's given a fourth one? I don't know what's happened there, but I have disappeared. This is the preview show. Welcome along.
It's the Premier League Preview Show with Chris and Craig on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Strap yourself in.
Because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Doug, good evening. How devil are you, sir?
Good evening, Chris. Thank you very much for having me. And you're probably going to Anfield at probably the wrong time.
Well, is there ever a good time looking at the stats? I mean, whenever we go to Anfield, you manage to stuff us, and even when you're losing, you come back and beat us on penalties. So I don't know when is a good or when is a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know that things are not going very well for Leicester at the moment. I mean, I watched that Forest game, and I feel for you having to do your first watch along ever, and it'd be that game.
I mean, that was just typical of me to do my first watch along of the season, and it's to that game. There was literally, I think the only thing that kept me sane was the fact that I was doing it with Steve Lynix, and he was slightly ahead of us, and so we knew when they were about to score. So I couldn't go too mad when we actually did, because I'd seen it, I'd seen his reaction to it. But I mean, it was the performance more than anything. I mean, you've had Brendan Rodgers as your manager.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of Liverpool fans are saying that he did this at Liverpool, his third season, he ran out of steam, he ran out of ideas, and that's when you got rid of him.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think I can see similar comparisons to his third season at Liverpool, where things just started to go horribly wrong. He didn't get the players he wanted. He kept losing in Europe, and he had some weird results. I remember us going out to, I think it was Oldham Athletic in the FA Cup. So it's one thing for saying that Brendan Rodgers is a very, very good manager, but just recently, that press conference he did after the defeat against Forest was very interesting. I've never seen him actually put players under the bus, like throw players under the bus like that. So we are seeing a little bit of a change to Brendan, but he'll know from all this that he started a journey with these Leicester players. He did say maybe it's coming to an end. This core of players, maybe he just needs to freshen it up. But from what I've been reading today, it looks like, well, wherever you want to believe in papers, that the owners are going to give him a chance to sort of have a squad overhaul.
Well, yes. I mean, as I said on the show the other day, what is the point of changing the manager now? We're not in a relegation fight. I don't think we will be. I think there are three worse teams than us that will go down this season. Okay, we're not going to get into Europe, but bring a new manager in now. He's got no transfer window. All he's going to do is come in and go, right, I don't like you, I like you, you're not playing, you are, and maybe have a different style of play, and the players have got to get used to that. They might win one or two on the famous new manager bounce, but I just don't see the point of changing now when it's not going to have a dramatic effect on the season.
Yeah, 100%. And as you said, whoever comes in won't get the transfer window until the summer to bring their own players in, bring their own ideas across. So no, I think you should probably stick with them until the end of the season at least. See where you are. And if it goes wrong next season, basically Rodgers had 3.25 seasons at Liverpool. He had 2012-2013, 13-14. I've got that right. 14-15, and then 15-16 he was let go after a 1-1 draw with Everton. But I knew then that he was going to be away because the form was just ridiculous that season as well. We kept drawing games. We lost. This is the thing. This is the thing with Leicester is I never thought it would be this low this season. I predicted you to be top four, considering the season that you guys had. Unfortunately, you did lose the top four spot. But I thought you would have a much, much better season than you're having. But you have to say there has been a few similar circumstances, and you have had a lot of injuries. I can't remember you having a solid back four or back three for the whole season. It keeps changing. And I know how you feel because that was us last season.
Well, exactly. I mean, I wrote it down the other day. At some point during this season, there's been injuries to Bertrand, Vestergaard, Evans, Fofana, Soyuncu, Castagna, Ricardo, and James Justin. I mean, that literally is our whole defensive. And Vestergaard, everybody knows my feelings on Vestergaard, but he's come into a team that is unsettled. He's new. He hasn't got a regular partner next to him. And how any player, you only get the sort of that team spirit and team playing together when you do play together. And, if you don't know who your fellow centre-back or the guy to the right of you is going to be match in, match out, it's difficult to get any sort of cohesion going. But my other thought is, I say, is maybe that third season syndrome. We had it with you, we had it with Celtic, but Klopp obviously came in, and managers don't always get a lot of time now. But it took a while for him to obviously get Liverpool going, and when he did, my God, you had a fantastic season. You know, if there was an egg and cup race, you'd have won it that season. It was a bit of a reverb. Is it at your end, or I can hear a reverb?
Reverb.
It was about a comeback, a bit of a.
Oh right,
I
hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah, still there, but it's a lot better. I forgot what I was saying now. So Klopp, you won everything, absolutely brilliant. And then the next season, you didn't move on. You actually didn't. I don't know if you actually won anything the next season, or maybe the League Cup. I don't know. But you stuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes managers do have the odd bad season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we had 3 seasons where we were just playing relentless football. 17-18, we got to the Champions League final against Real Madrid. Yes, we might have lost that game, but we got to the Champions League final. The following season, 18-19, was when we won the Champions League. And, we almost won the league that season as well. We almost won the league that season. Then 19-20, we could win everything that you could think of. Like we won the European Super Cup, we won the World Club Cup, and then obviously the Premier League.
Yeah,
there was always going to be a season where we were going to just fall away ever so slightly. And I think it's good that we've had that season, because we are now, albeit I say like 9 points behind Manchester City. Obviously, I know they're playing Brentford tonight, so I'll go back. It'll probably go back to 12 anyway. But to be actually closer to City, because we finished, I think it was 13 or 14 points behind them last season.
Yeah,
we've managed to refresh the squad as well with the signing of Luis Diaz, which I think is a fantastic signing, because we've been needing a big freshening up in the forward line for a long time. And some players have gone out on loan, like your Neco Williams, Nat Phillips. They were never going to get like Neco Williams. I feel sorry for him, because the one player he has to try get in above is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Nat Phillips is the same. He has to get in ahead of Van Dijk, Mata, Konate, Gomez. It's good for them to get these moves. So yeah, there was always going to be one season where we were going to have a bit of a decline, and it sort of feels like Leicester have been playing some very, very good football for the past sort of 2 seasons, and then just now, maybe they're just having their season where everything's starting to go wrong. So hopefully, from you can take from our point of view that you could probably have a season next season where everything will probably go back to being, the same, where you'd be fighting for top 4, fighting for those European places.
And again, I think the last couple of seasons, for a club, whether it be Leicester, whether it be West Ham, Everton, whoever, for somebody to break into those top spots, you do need one or more of the recognised big 6, if you like, not to perform. Or you've got to perform better. And for the last couple of seasons, I think there's probably only been Leicester that have been in the position to challenge that. But this season, you've got West Ham are stronger than they were last season. The problem you've also got is that Spurs and Arsenal have come back into it. They weren't there last season. So there's a lot more going for that sort of position that we were going for. Just a few hellos here. Terry, I'm still getting that reverb. I'm going to be honest with you, Doug.
I've got a headset. That might actually help. We'll give me a second.
So hello to Terry. How the devil are you, sir? Roger started the journey with young players, Trouble is he loaded the bus with too much baggage. Vestergaard to name just one of them. Richard, how the devil are you, sir? You were how's Mini Me? You're coming on the show on Friday. Looking forward to that. And we're coming for you, according to Andrew. Well, Everton's coming. I don't know whether you mean that Everton are coming for us or for Liverpool, but they maybe stopped off last night and had a bit of a break in Newcastle. And hello, gentlemen. Hope you're both well. Well, I am. I think Brad's a little bit. Doug's a little bit better than I am. And Facebook user, all right, guys, how are you doing? Yeah. So we've already got here next. Brendan is the favourite to go next, and has got an amazing relationship with the owners. We saw that after the FA Cup. But we also know that the owners, they're sensible. I can remember when Nigel Pearson in one night was sacked, then he was unsacked. His dad wanted to sack him. But it was Top that came in and convinced him not to. We didn't. We took him back on, and then we went on and won the league, and the rest is history, as they say. So they're sensible, but they're not scared to sack. Look at Ranieri, won us the league.
Yeah.
And so they aren't. My thing is, though, that they brought Brendan in for a journey. They didn't bring him in as a stopgap. They didn't bring him in because we were struggling particularly. We weren't doing well under Puel, but we weren't sort of struggling. But he came in because of what he can do with youngsters, and we've seen a lot of those youngsters coming through. And why stop that journey? Because, if we stop a journey, all we're doing is getting out of one Uber and getting into another one. And the next manager's got to start again. And like we said before with Klopp, having one... Ferguson's the same at Man United. Wenger at Arsenal. They have a bad season. It doesn't mean that they've got to go. It's just the fact that you have a bad season and they come back. But like I say, he is favourite to go next. Just some of these names here, some of them I can't even pronounce, but Graham Potter, 2-1 favourite. Please, Lucy.
That'd be Brad's loving nightmare, wouldn't it?
Oh God, can you imagine Brad on air if Potter got the job? Yeah. Lucian favourite 5-1, and Postiglio coming at 8-1. Steve Cooper 10-1 has beaten us once. Gasparini 14-1, and here's where it gets silly. Pochettino 20-1. This is what gets me, not the newspapers, but the fans, and let's get Pochettino in. We always used to say, let's get Ancelotti in. We are still, at the end of the day, Leicester. And if Man United knock on his front door, Pochettino, and we're knocking on the back door, I know which door Pochettino's going to go to. We're still Leicester. We're not that big yet. But it just... Like I said, for me, before we move on, I just can't see the point of getting rid of him at this stage. And I know you guys say as Liverpool, obviously you replaced him with Klopp, and you're not going to say that was a bad thing. But do you think had you got over that? Because Alex Ferguson, whilst he was at Man United, he actually reinvented that team 3 or 4 times. He didn't win everything with the same team. After a couple of seasons, he could see it was getting stale, and he wasn't scared to get rid of some of the big names and restart the squad, if you like. So, that's a possibility.
Yeah, 100%. You look at... I think this is somewhere where Jurgen Klopp has kind of faltered slightly, is that he hasn't refreshed the squad as much. You look at the title winning season. We only brought, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, we signed Adrian on a free, and we signed Sepp Vandenberg from the Holland 3rd tier. So I think he's learned his lesson now that when he sees a player, he will go for him. Luis Diaz was one that's been scouted since November. He wanted him. He absolutely wanted him. And yes, it might have helped that we played Porto in the Champions League, but he was the best player on the night at Anfield for Porto. He absolutely tore us to shreds, and we were very fortunate to win that game. But as soon as Klopp sees a player, he'll go for him, and I think that's something he hasn't really done at every summer is sort of freshen up the squad, because we've needed to freshen up the squad for a long time. It's practically the same team sort of 3-4 seasons in a row. So, we've obviously Salah, Mane, Firmino. They're turning 30, I think, this sometime this season coming up as well. So, you've got Jota, who I think is about 25, so he's the future. Luis Diaz, he's 25, he's the future. Yeah. So it's all about freshening it up, and we've got a magnificent seven if you like at our disposal. We've got Salah, Mane, Jota, Luis Diaz, Roberto Firmino, and obviously Minamino and Origi, who have stayed on. So to have that strength and depth is going to be so key if we want to win trophies this season.
Yeah, and I do wonder sometimes, because we've got probably the strongest squad we've had for a long time, and maybe that's Brendan's problem, is that he. I'll go back to the and Leicester fans will be bored when we keep saying this, but when we won the championship and came up, we had you could predict what that team was going to be for each game 5 or 6 games before. It was a solid team. We knew that was what he would play, how he was playing, and that's what Pearson went for, and it was the same team. When we came up, after we beat the Man United, having the 5-3, somebody would have a good game and they'd be dropped. He just was swapping it every week. And that's what we can see with Brendan, is that he came out and said how good Chowdhury was he had to play the defensive role, but he was brilliant at it, and he was very good. In fact, I think it was the Liverpool game that happened in. We haven't seen him since. If he was that good, Brendan, if you're beefing him up, why then is he not doing it? Papa Mendy, he's just won the AFCON. He's in the AFCON team of the tournament, and he's not in our Euro squad. He's just been taken into the Premier League squad for the second. That's only because we sold a few players. So I just don't follow his logic somehow. I mean, comment here from Andrew: it'll cost £24 million to sack him, and that's the problem. If we do sack him, that's £24 million. In Watford, I mean, they probably pay more out in compensation than they do wages for managers. It's just, like I say, I just think we're just sort of scrapping. If you're going to get a manager in to develop the youth and to have this project with the new training centre, then you've got to stick with him, every ride has a few bumps in it, and you've got to stick with it. Scott, good evening, sir. How are you? I think, Chris, it would depend on can Brendan get performances going again within the players he's got. I mean, totally. Again, that relegation, Great Escape season. I travelled 7 hours every home game, 3.5 there, 3.5 back, to watch us lose. Virtually, because we were bottom of that league longer than anybody had been and survived. But we were getting performances. The players were giving it their all. And I think losing to Forest, fine, it's the FA Cup. It's going to happen. We're going to have upsets. That's what we like about the FA Cup. It was the performance, though, I think that scared people. And if that Leicester turn up to play you are going to wipe the floor with us on Thursday.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked at watching that game. And the thing that really struck me was, you go 1-0 down, and then all of a sudden, the camera pans off, and then poor old Daniel Lamarty giving the ball to sort of Brennan Johnson, who finishes really well under Danny Ward. There's a way of losing.
Yeah,
you can be competitive, but if you give up like you did when you were at 3-0 down, that has to be very, very worrying. And 4-1, it could have been a lot worse.
Yes, it could. Yeah,
but do you know what? We have to say. I know it's very, very hard for you to say, but I thought Forest were excellent. And
I would not take anything away from Forest, and I'm trying to be very careful because I know, for example, when we beat United earlier in the season, it was how bad United were, not how good we were.
Yeah.
And as bad as we were, I give all credit to Forest. They made us look like the championship team. They deserved it. Well done, Forest. And it's happened now. But like I say, that performance has got to change. Jeannie 20, good evening. How the devil are you?
Hi, Jeannie.
And Anthony, good evening, Anthony. If Rodgers is getting sacked because of losing to Forest, so could Arteta in my book. But at least Leicester's still in the Europa League. Well, we're not. We're in the conference, but I'm happy with the Conference League. I know a team like Liverpool, Arsenal, etc., would feel it's below them. But for Leicester and a West Ham and Everton, we would be happy with the Europa Conference. I tell you what, if we win it, it will be in the record books that we won the first ever one. So. Yeah, I don't think we will do though. That is the problem. But look, I'm not sure what's going to happen on Thursday. It's the players have got to now turn up.
Yes.
I've not heard Rodgers, like you said earlier, come out. He's always kept his criticism behind the scenes. He's a manager. He's not like a Martin O'Neill or a Klopp or a Mourinho. He doesn't kick every ball on the sideline, and he doesn't come out and Mourinho style lambast players. When we had the COVID gate earlier in the season, Chowdhury, Maddison, we all knew that they'd been punished because they were not in the squad, but nothing was ever said. Now to come out and say that on camera as he did. And I get he was probably as frustrated as everybody else. It sounds like a manager that's in trouble, that's fighting relegation, that comes out and he just says what he has to say. Like, yes, we were in trouble, but we're going to give it 110%. We're going to fight. And the next game they lose and they come out and say the same thing. It just had the smack of that about it.
Yeah, it did. It did. But I think he was right to come out and say what he said, because I think some of those players have definitely failed him. You look at Tielemans against Forest. He didn't look like the same player. What's happened to Soyuncu? I remember.
Yeah,
I remember a lot of people talking Soyuncu up to be very, 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 very good. And then he goes to the Euros and is dreadful, really, really, really poor. And then he's just come back into Leicester, and he just looks a completely different player.
I think again we have to be fair to Soyuncu and say yes, he did have a bad Euros. He's then come back into a team that has struggled this season, and so he hasn't been able to sort of get that far. He doesn't know who his partner is one game to the next. And that doesn't help him.
Yeah.
And Soyuncu, we were happy that we got, Soyuncu. We thought, Man United had got Maguire for 80 million, but we got Soyuncu. And if you believe the song, he's got a rather large male appendage as well. But that's another story. But, like I say, he doesn't. He's the sort of player that actually probably needs like a Wes Morgan when we had him, or an Evans, or somebody like that next to him. And that's fine. I get that, because when you put a squad together, it's a squad, and Drinkwater was only really good, if we look back, and as much as I love him, was only good because he had Kanté next to him. And that's sort of, been proven. So that happens with Soyuncu. But, and as an Vestergaard, he's a 15 million tree, he's 6'6" until he jumps and he's 6'2". That, but he's not come into a settled team. And then there's rumours that Soyuncu wants to leave. I don't know how true that is, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Brendan's come out and said, it's left him open to criticism, but he says he's still got the backing of the board. I just hope that the board don't come out and give him the vote of confidence, because that makes it 10 times worse. It just don't say anything, And yes, he was embarrassed by the 4-1 defeat. Yes, it was, as he said, the worst result he's had as Leicester manager. But it happens. We lost to Newport, in the FA Cup. At some point, a team is going to come and just catch you on that day. And say Tielemans, we know he's going to be leaving in the summer. He's made and he deserves to play in a Champions League team. There's no secret to that fact. That's what he wants. And I'm going to say good luck to him. He had a bad game, but so did everybody else in that squad. You can't say that Tielemans wants away because he doesn't. Well, yes, he does want away, but he's still giving us the performances and he's still getting in there. Well, not a captain, I don't think, to be honest with you. We need somebody like a Schmeichel, but out, not in goal as the captaincy, but just nobody turned up the other night, and that is the worry. And it will be interesting, and we'll come on to it in a bit, but it will be interesting to see which Leicester turn up tomorrow night. I'll be very interested. But we're going to look at the game in a bit more detail, and we'll be back straight after this.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Yeah, please do join in, and please do also give us smash the likes on YouTube. And if you've not yet subscribed, please do. Anthony says, Chris, hard game, I know, but Arsenal got Wolves on Thursday too. But Wolves have won their last 3 and drawn 1, so it's a hard game for us. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Well, I'd take that tomorrow night at this point. I also think some of the performances are down to Brendan's tactics. It is. I mean, the thing is, the manager, as bad as the team are, it's up to the manager to sort it out. And yes, everybody says, well, once the players cross that white line, that's all the manager can do. Well, no, he can't. He can make changes. He gets paid, and the buck stops with him. Anthony, Chris, that song was made up about me first. Yes, of course it was. Of course it was. And I'm Jake the Peg with my extra middle leg as well. Yes. Although perhaps you quoting the Rolf Harris song is not the best thing to do. Rennie, good evening. How the devil are you, sir? Nice to have you along. So looking at the game here, it is the cancelled one to Liverpool. It is on BT Sport if you have that platform. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure about doing a watch along. I'm tempted to, because there's so much riding on it after the last game, but I don't know if I can let people see my pain again for 2 matches running. That wouldn't be very very nice. But last time we played, I mean, this was a surprise because we were beating you in the Caribou Cup. We were ahead. You then brought your big guns on and turned it around and got through on penalties. So this really was the biggest surprise going.
It was, but fair play to you. You absolutely deserve to win. We there was a bit of an off night for us. But Lookman's goal was very, very well taken, and I had no complaints at the end to say, but well done to Leicester. And I have to say from that game, Henderson was hitting shots from about 30 yards that were like going over the crossbar. Like I don't know how many volleys he tried. I think it was 3 or 4. And like every shot was going over the bar. Obviously, Salah missed a penalty there as well. So
I was going to come to that. I was going to mention that, believe it or not.
but no, Schmeichel had one of his best games of the season in that game. Saved Leicester, I think 2, 3, 4 times as well. So tomorrow will be very, very interesting because I think he could have a busy night.
Yes, I get that feeling. I hope he gets a good night's sleep tonight. I mean, the other thing about that game that I remember is that I don't think we had our strongest 11 out. And that was the embarrassing thing more so about the Forest games, that when you looked at that squad beforehand, that was probably as good as we could hope at the moment. It literally was, barring 1 or 2 exceptions, our strongest squad. against Watford in the previous round, because of the COVID problems and illnesses and what have you, we had 6 youngsters on the pitch at the end of the game. And they put more effort in, and I think we had a couple in this squad as well. They put more effort in than some of the more experienced players. So maybe we should just get the youth out again. maybe that would be good. Ren, of course, I forgot. Of course, your real name is Doe, not Doug. I forgot that, Doug.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just when you think it's safe, there's always somebody out there that's going to remind you. Yes. Well, he's got work tomorrow night, but then again, Doug does need the dough. Wait, no. Never mind. Get Roger out and get Gusto or Potter in. Anthony, I don't like you anymore. I can kick you out of this chat, you know. And typical Arsenal fan. And Anthony, are Mo Salad and Mane playing? Yes, I think they are. Unfortunately, I wish they were.
Salah, yes. Mane has just returned to Liverpool this evening, so my guess will be Salah will start, but Mane will be on the bench. I think I think you'll see the new boy play.
Yeah, and again, I think with Mendy for us, now he's in the squad, it might be too soon for him to come back in. But then, like you say, you know, you got your new guy that's starting out for Liverpool, so he's going to have something to prove. Mo Salah is going to really want to pay you guys back for that penalty miss the other night. So there's a bit of pressure on Liverpool. But I say all eyes on Leicester. All eyes on Leicester are going to be seeing our performance, and I think it's in a way. I'm glad we are playing in Liverpool because we can play reasonably well, and we would still expect you to beat us. If we were playing a Norwich or a Burnley, with no disrespect to them, you'd be saying, well, we should be winning this, and there's a lot more pressure. And the fact that it's away gives us a bit of a break, because I think the next game we've got the weekend, I know, it's West Ham at home, and that's the first home fixture after Forest. And yeah, exactly. The crowd are going to be... They're going to give it to Leicester and they'll get behind them. But once that whistle goes to end the halves, who knows what's going to happen with the crowds, you know. Anthony says here, Doug, are you doing a watch-along for the game?
Unfortunately not. I am working tomorrow evening, so I will miss the game, but I will catch the highlights after I finish at 11 o'clock. I'll watch them on the bus.
You may say that I am grasping at straws here, but when we beat in the above game there, Leicester-Liverpool, Doug was working again, so maybe it is an omen. But I am grasping at straws here, aren't I? I mean, you know, look at this. I mean, these stats here: 31 times we played each other in the Premier League. 16 wins to you, 9 to Leicester. I mean, it just doesn't look good for us. We might as well just sort of save the cost of the journey and give you the 3 points.
I mean, some teams have played very, very well at Anfield this season as well, but it is sort of starting to become a bit of a fortress again. And I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember the last time you beat us at Anfield. I'm thinking it was maybe 14-15 season. I think David Nugent may have scored a winner. So that's my guess that the last time you beat us, I think, was 14-15. But obviously, someone can correct me in the chat. But the Carabao Cup game, how you did not win that game, I'll never know. 3-1 up, absolutely cruising, and then as you say, we did bring our big guns on, and you know we managed to get a draw, and you know to take it to penalties, and win on penalties as well. I think the one player for me to watch out for, I know people will probably say, "Oh, Salah's a player to watch out for." Diogo Jota, he absolutely loves playing Leicester City.
Yes. You did have to mention him, didn't you? But yes, I agree totally. And I think he was a great purchase for you. I think you did really, really well in getting him. But this is the form going into the game. And I'm pleased to say that our win over you is still on there as one of the last 5 games. But I mean, looking at that, it is. I mean, you beat Palace. Which is probably not Palace having a good season. You beat Brentford, which is probably to be expected. You only managed the draw. I say only managed the draw against Chelsea, but that's probably a game you should have won. And the same with Spurs. So your form can be a little bit erratic.
It is a bit erratic, but I think the thing to say is that our home form has been very, very good this season. I think there's only been maybe two draws at home, I think, and that was obviously Manchester City and Brighton, I think was the other one as well. Two tough teams, two tough teams to. But obviously, you should be beating Brighton in all honesty. But the home form has been much better, and it's going to be a very interesting game because I do know that you do have a few injuries, as I've said. I believe that am I right in saying Vardy's missing tomorrow?
Vardy's out, yeah. I mean, and that's the other thing as well now. Vardy is such an age where what used to take him a few years ago 3 or 4 weeks to recover is now taking him 7 to 8 weeks to recover. But again, we've got Daka, and Daka's a goal machine. And as much as I love Inacho, and I think he's been treated badly again by Rodgers. Daka should be starting. He's so similar to Vardy, and we all know that it's the so-called top 6 teams that we play well against because you give us that space to get in behind you where the other teams don't. But you're talking about Brendan here, who, as much as I don't want him to go, he does frustrate me. End of last season, Vardy and Inacho together playing well. Fantastic. Inacho, our top scorer last season. First game of this season, back to get it. I really don't. But, I mean, that's the table. Is it, from your point of view, is it over? I mean, you've got that game in hand on Man City, but you are sort of, is it 9 points behind there?
Yeah.
Can you catch those? It's not impossible. It's been done before, hasn't it?
It has been done before. I can remember. I think City were behind. I think it was either 9 or 10 points by Manchester United. They obviously, they went on won their first Premier League title. So it's not mathematically over.
No,
but realistically, you would have to say that barring an absolute miracle, it probably is. But City have some tough games coming up. I think they've got, well, obviously not tonight. I think they'll wipe the floor with Brentford, if I'm being honest with you. They've got Norwich on Saturday at Carroll Road. Now, the last time City went to Carroll Road, they lost. So that'd be lovely if they could do that again. I don't see it. And then I think, if my memory serves me correctly, they've got Spurs at the Etihad. They are away to Everton. And then I think it's the Manchester Derby. And then I think they're away at Crystal Palace. So that's not quite an easy run-in. But we have to basically focus on ourselves. And, we can't afford any more slip-ups as well. Chelsea are the same. They have to be so consistent as well. It's going to be very, very interesting for sure. But we'll see.
Yeah. Anthony, you're just enjoying this, aren't you? You really are. And, I won't forget this. Like Soyuncu, I have a long one, and it's not just a memory, I'll tell you. Rennie just confirms what we were saying before. Diaz starting over Mane. Niall, good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Welcome along. So, looking at that table, going down to Leicester, we're in 10th. We've conceded 37 goals, which I don't know if anybody has seen it at all. But if you go on the iPlayer and go on to the football I think it's a football news show, a football daily news show. Just type in the football, it will come up on BBC iPlayer only. But I was on Monday. I had my ugly mug on the cameras, and they were making the point about Leicester's, bad defence and how many goals we've conceded. But, we've been there. We've said how bad the defence is. And I think, you struggled last season, didn't you, with sort of defenders out. It does. Yep. If you're trying to sort of defend so much, it does stop you attacking. But in a normal season, I mean, Leicester have lost more than we've won. We've won 7, drawn 5, lost 8. In a normal season, that would, I think, see us around 14th, 15th. The fact that we're still 10th is showing what a mixed up season this is. Because anybody can be. Who would have thought Newcastle would have beaten Everton? Well, I did because I had it down in my predictions. But you never thought a 3-1. You couldn't really see that coming.
No, and the thing for me is after that game is you actually look at the table. Everton are only 2 points above the relegation zone now.
Yes.
Who would have thought they would be anywhere near that? But I don't see them going down because I still think there's 3 worse teams off there. Yeah. I know Burnley drew with Manchester United last night, but Manchester United are just going out of Jekyll and Hyde. You just do not know what team they're
like Leicester this season, aren't they? You just don't know what they're going to do 1 week to the next,
And they also dropped down to 5th last night because obviously West Ham beat Watford. So anybody can beat anybody, as you said. I think you have a very, very hard couple of games coming up. I mean, obviously you've got us tomorrow. I think West Ham at home may look a very, very tricky game. They're in very, very good form, and that will not be an easy game to be at the King Power for.
They stuffed us 4-1 at the start of the season, so I'm not expecting that to be good as well. Anthony says, Chris, don't forget the tissues before the game. Mate, the tissues for me will be for the tears. Unlike Arsenal fans who use the tissues for something else when it comes to talking about Arteta. I will leave it at that, shall we, Anthony? Let's leave it at that. It's too early for me to follow up on that. But believe it or not, I've got the toilet roll here ready, so don't worry. Don't ask why I've got toilet roll next to the computer. A few. I'd like to say fun facts, but I don't think we can call them fun facts. But City are looking to complete the league double over Liverpool for the first time since the 98-99 season under Martin O'Neill. While Brendan Rodgers is looking to become only the second former Reds manager in history to complete a league double over them after leaving the club after taking out leash in 93-94 with Blackburn Rovers. I mean, I love the fact where they get these facts from. If you go back far enough, there's always a fact for everything. But I can't see it happening. But that you say, it would be Leicester. I mean, we always joke as Leicester fans that following Leicester is like a roller coaster. It's up and it's down. It's up and it's down, like a prostitute's knickers on a good night out. We never know whether we're going to have a good season or a bad season. So it kind of, but then you take that, and then this scares me. Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 14 Premier League contests at Anfield, won 10, drawn 4, and have won their last 5 in a row. Their best home winning run since an 8-match streak in July and December 2020. Your confidence has just got to be so high, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think looking at it, I mean, we've got a full squad, which I can't remember the last time I said that. We've actually got a full squad to choose from. So picking the team tomorrow is going to be very, very difficult. Great to see Harvey Elliott back. I must say, Harvey Elliott scored a fantastic goal against Cardiff City on Sunday, and it's great to see him back after his really bad injury at Leeds. But as you say, anything can happen in a game of football, and you're coming to Anfield on the back of a very bad defeat against your local rivals, Forest. Maybe it would be the most Leicester thing to lose to Forest and then come to Anfield to get a result.
This is it. It totally would. And like I say, maybe I am grasping at straws, but I'm thinking that could happen. But I can't even say that. Oh, great, we've got players coming back in. Because look at the squad that we had against Forest, and if you can't get up for that game, which is the biggest game, actually, as a local derby we've had in 8 years, then you're not going to get up for anything, But
yeah,
I don't know. It's football, isn't it? Another interesting point here: against no side is Liverpool's Klopp lost more Premier League matches than he has versus Leicester. Now then, 4, which is level with Man City. The Foxes are looking to become the first team since Pep Guardiola's Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund in 14-15 to beat a Klopp side twice in a league season. I'm sure the managers don't even look at these sort of stats, but as fans, when you're Leicester, we'll grab at anything, And then the last one here, Leicester's Patson Daka has been directly involved in 7 goals in just 9 Premier League appearances so far. 4 goals, 3 assists, averaging a goal or assist every 64 minutes. No Foxes player has ever been involved in more than 7 goals in the first 10 Premier League matches for the club. It was Mark Robbins and in 95 and Les Ferdinand in 2003 and even Slimani in 2016. And yet he's not in the team, Daka. He's playing in Action. And I mean, if I see that team sheet tomorrow and we are not playing Daka from the start. And as I like Inacho, and I'm sorry, I'm not blaming him for it. A striker can only score if he gets the supply. But we've got to be starting with Daka. Surely as a fan, you'd be more. Would you be more worried if you sort of looked at the team sheet tomorrow and it's like we look at Liverpool and think, oh, Salah's not playing, and it gives you a boost. And would you sooner see us? Would you be more worried? Sorry, if we played Daka than if we played Inacho?
Yeah, I think Daka is, as you say, a sort of a Vardy-esque player, someone who will play on the last line of the defence and give our defenders a really, really hard time. Yeah, I would be worried. I think he has to start tomorrow. He has to start because he'll give. I think it'll be Van Dijk and Matip at the back anyway. He'll give those two a hard time if he has a good game. Lookman, I'm worried if he plays because obviously he scored against us the last time as well. So I would be very, very concerned if those two are in the team. If they're not in the team, then it gives us a little bit of a boost. So you never know.
Is it Rennie here? You're saying, Chris, are we going to lose against Liverpool or are we going to win? I wanted Rodgers out as soon as possible. No matter, even when we had Puel, and I can go back to David Pleat years. I never want my team to lose to get a manager out, and I just can't get man. I'm not saying that's that's kind of how you've worded it, Rennie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have kind of worded it like that, and I respect your opinion. Don't agree with it, but I just think that we are too trigger happy these days when it comes to managers. Gone will be the day. I mean, the thing with Liverpool, like I said, I can remember Liverpool pre-Ferguson era when you were the Man United of that time. And in fairness to Man United, and we've got to be honest with you, I've said this a few times, before Fergie and post-Fergie, they are a top 6 side. While Fergie was there, they were unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a Fergie that gets that long at a club these days. Remember how close he was to being sacked himself as well. Wenger, how long he was at Arsenal. Those sort of things don't happen. And I remember Liverpool, and you had Shankly, then you had Paisley, then and I might be getting these out of order or whatever, but then you had Evans. You had an amazing team that when one stepped down, the next one just stepped up. And Liverpool were known for that. But again, that doesn't happen anymore, does it?
No, absolutely not. And you're absolutely right. The longevity of Premier League of managers is the longevity of hopefully not Mike. The longevity.
I like those Man United fans. I've always said that. Love them.
The longevity of managers doesn't happen anymore. I think Sean Dyche, if my memory serves me correctly, he is the high started. I believe he is the longest serving Premier League manager at the moment.
Who's that? Sorry,
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche. Yes, he is. I think. I think it was to a point. The guy at Bournemouth that's at Newcastle now, and I've forgotten Eddie Howe. But yeah,
Eddie
Sean
Howe,
Dyche. But when they went down a couple of seasons ago, they stuck with him, and he brought them back up. And again, he got them into Europe for a season. I just, like I say, you've got to either say, and I think this is what they've done with Rodgers. And Rodgers knew when he came to Leicester, he had to rebuild his own reputation, if you like, because he'd got this reputation. He'd gone to a big club in Liverpool, and Liverpool come knocking. You can't always say no, and he didn't, and he went. And let's face it, you were a sort of a slippy Gerrard away from winning the title, and he was close, but he didn't quite do it. Went to Scotland, and you can say, well, okay, it was Scotland, and he had no Rangers for most of his time up there, so he was going to win everything. But he had to prove himself, and I think he knew that coming to Leicester, it was a journey. He was going to get the this sort of project Project Leicester, if you like, to build. We've got the new stadium coming on and everything like that. But you can't then say, well, hang on. We've had a few bad games. I know it's more than a few bad games, but sorry, we don't want you anymore. So what's happened to the project? And I think, as I've always said, if we get rid of Brendan, I worry about who we would get in. If you sack Klopp tomorrow, if we beat you and you said that's enough for getting rid of Klopp, it's not going to happen, you would probably, as Liverpool, have a pretty good damn choice of top managers.
Yeah, we would.
We, as Leicester, and we've got to take off your blue-tinted spectacles, we at Leicester wouldn't have that. Everybody used to say, oh, every time we lost a manager, Ancelotti this, Ancelotti that, he wouldn't have come. He jumped ship at Everton as soon as Madrid came, knocking. And that is the worry, is that I'm hoping that the board are strong enough to say, let's ride this season out. We've had, for us, you had 30 years of wait until... It sounds like you're going to burst into song, doesn't it? 30 years of hurt. But you had 30 years between doing really good and winning the Premier League title again. We actually won it while we were waiting for you. I just thought I'd throw that in. But we've only had 6 months of a bad run at Leicester. We've got to stop. I just get fed up with this sacking culture, and I know Ranieri. He didn't get the time. He won us the bloody league title, and then he was sacked 6 months later. But we were 17th, 18th position, and that's the difference. I mean, you can't see us going down, can you?
No, hell no.
And I think that's what we've got to remember, and if it would be different, I would be sat here and I would get as annoyed as we all do when we see the team lose and the way they lose, etc. But and if we were 17th or 18th now, if we were in Everton's position, we'd be looking at it completely differently. Everybody's saying, oh, Lampard's good, he's gone to Everton, he got them winning again. Yeah, he did for one game. Again, that doesn't make him sort of a good manager. Rene's gone 3-1 to Liverpool. Mike's longest in the Prem, however, the Harrogate manager is the longest in EFL, 12 years in charge. Do you know what, Mike? You need to get out more. I know you sit there in your prison cell with nothing to do but read football books, but you do need where you get your knowledge from. I've absolutely no
brilliant,
idea.
Mate. Absolutely brilliant.
I'm looking forward, Mike. The next quiz in the Big Fat Football Quiz 2 is Mike. He's taking on Reese. Reese stays on as the current holder. That is going to be interesting because it's like two statos there going up against each other.
Aye.
But let's get. We're going to come to this now. Score predictions. As you know, every time I do this every week with the ex-players, and none of them have gone for a Leicester win. I hope they're all doing reverse psychology. I can't go against my team. I can't. I've gone for 1-1 because I just think I just think that we need a performance. We need a performance. And I think the players have got to decide whether they are behind Rodgers or they're not behind Rodgers. And they've got to think about their own, because like I say, it wasn't, that performance the other day wasn't, I don't think it was totally down to Rodgers. It was just as much down to those players that were on the pitch, and they've got something to prove. And I think whilst it won't be enough to beat you, I think it'll be enough to give you a scare. But Ian Marshall has gone 3-0. Steve Walsh has gone 4-1, and he always backs Leicester. Jerry Taggart has gone 3-1. Steve Lynix has gone 2-0, but he is the king of the reverse psychology. And Ian Wilson has gone 2-0. And you look at that and you wonder why I am bottom of the prediction league. That is why I'm sticking by. I won it last season. I'm having a Sheffield United season, and that's why I've gone down. Which way do you see this go score-wise? Obviously, you think it's going to be a Liverpool win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Liverpool win. But I think it's gonna be a lot closer than many people think. I think you will get a goal. I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool.
Ooh. I'd hate to say that I will take that, but if it's that tight, I would love it to be that. Scott thinks it's going to be a goal fest here, 4-4. I don't see Leicester getting 4 goals past Liverpool. But look, you just never know this season. Neil, welcome along, sir. We'll all be together in an hour's time on Doug's channel.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed, you guys will be.
Yeah. 3 Leicester, 1 Liverpool fans. That's what I like. I was on Statman's show last night, and he does a quiz. He didn't tell me, and he know what I like about quizzes. I don't mind hosting them, but I don't like taking part in them. But he sprung this quiz on, and it was like Blockbusters. There was 2 Liverpool fans and me. And like, how unfair. And that said, I did take it to a tie break, so I was kind of pleased with myself. But Mike's gone 1-0 to Leicester. Lookman. Yeah, well, I'll take that again. I will take that again. I'm going to be honest with you. And Neil says Doug is going to be sick of us at this rate, Chris. Let's hope he's even sicker when it comes to Thursday night. We are looking. You'll have to pop, because we're doing the post-match show when you're coming home from work, so you'll have to try and pop on while you're on the bus, Yeah,
I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
And don't do a nippon and get thrown off the bus for streaming.
Oh, bloody hell. Honestly. Like, I don't get what goes in his head to think about going on streams when he's on buses, when he's outside. Like, I'm just happy basically being in my flat, just in my chair, sat back, just talking to you. I don't want to do it on like public transport, or obviously sometimes you sometimes have to obviously do it outside, if you're coming home and that, but not on buses. Goodness me.
And I tell you need to. I don't know if you saw it. I think I saw you in the chat, Rich's chat last night, and he was on that, and he just took the conversation in a completely different way. And every time Rich said, right, I don't know, we're going to bring it to an end now, he'd ask another question about something completely off topic whilst doing a tour of his house, which must be as big as Buckingham Palace, because he was walking around his house and it was like... Homes under the hammer. It was like castles under the hammer. I heard something in my room, and I thought he'd actually walked all the way up here and broken into my house.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I completely lost him when he was talking about rivals.
Oh, you were there. You're watching. Yeah, I did not understand that at all. I do not. Beyond the 90, only crazy people talk on buses. Yes, and if you don't find the nutter on the bus, then you are the nutter. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance, let's try and YouTube Jasper Carrot nutter on the bus, because it sums it up totally. But yes, I don't know. I mean, I did say going off Nippon's thought, our rival was Sydney FC in Australia. I mean, where he was coming up with that, I do not know. It was
just mad.
Oh,
absolutely mad. Like obviously I know from like our rivals. Like our rivals are Manchester United, Everton, and then it's like something like Chelsea, Man City, and then probably like Arsenal. Like I've never thought of like Chelsea to what he was saying, he completely lost me. Lost me. I literally just went off the stream after that because I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
Well, Rich modded me, so I felt like I had to stop and kind of follow it. Although I managed within 5 minutes of being made a mod of upsetting somebody because I put him on timeout for swearing at me. But it was
oh dear.
Yeah. Well, no, he did. I don't mind a bit of swearing, but he did tell me to F off literally in the chat. So I'm sorry, that was it. It was 300 seconds. Get a life, That's the thing.
Yeah.
But no, I just do not know. I think if Nippon, I love you to bits, mate. But as whenever he says, "Can I come on your channel?" I go, "Well, as long as you're not in the car driving or eating, then yes, you can." But just Nippon, do never ever leave your brain to science because I don't think even they could work out what's going on in there, But who knows? Who knows? He's one of a kind. Doug, thank you so much for coming on.
My absolute pleasure.
We will see you, like I say, in 50 odd minutes again. It's a Leicester takeover of your channel. Talking about your channel, like I say, guys, if you're watching this, come and join us on Doug's channel at 9 o'clock, and Doug will now tell us where you can find him.
Yeah, my YouTube is the Dugout Football channel. I am on Twitter at nrod_1992, which is right there. My Instagram is Douglas.Horn, and I'm on Facebook at Douglas James Horn.
Yeah, brilliant. And can I say it was lovely to see a football fan with some pets earlier that weren't being abused.
Yeah.
So I believe some Arsenal fans have said if only he could hit the ball like that, they might do better. But that's for another time and another show. Doug, thank you so much, mate. I'd wish you all the best, but I wouldn't mean it. I will. Everybody get over to Doug's channel and catch us all having a go. Liverpool, Leicester, more reviews at Doug's channel at 9 o'clock. The links are in the YouTube description below, so make sure you give him a like and give him a follow. Thanks very much, Doug. I'll see you in 50 minutes.
See you in 50 minutes.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Great guy there, Doug. Make sure you do get over to his channel, Dugout TV channel, and give him a follow. And also, if you're not doing it already, another Leicester channel, Beyond the 90. Give them a follow. Great channel. Neil and Ant, the little and large of Leicester City. Neil and Ant there. Give them a follow as well. Great channel. And yes, Mike, on Doug's at 9. Leicester, yes, it was an embarrassment. If you haven't watched it already, I had Neil on, and thank you, Neil, for coming on last night at very short notice. We did have the all Rodgers in out or shake it all about. Anyway, I'm going to go off and I'm going to eat. If you've been watching this, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed it, smash that likes button, and please also give us a subscribe. We are growing very slowly, but it all helps the channels. Support the Leicester channels as well. Make sure you're over there and you're subscribing to Beyond the 90, and we will see how it goes. Mike, depending what time that finishes, but yeah, we can have a chat afterwards, no worries. I will say also, if you're listening to this on catch up on podcast, thank you so much for listening. Looking at my face, I don't blame you if you want preferring to listen rather than watch. Big game tomorrow. We're going to be back afterwards with the post-match show with Brad, possibly Doug on his way home from work. And you know what? I don't mind if we lose. What we've got to show against Liverpool, we've got to show some balls. Because at the moment, I'd sooner go and watch the Leicester City women's team. So at least they're putting up the fight. Leicester men didn't the other day. And if they don't put a performance in against Liverpool, it's going to be like Christians facing the Lions at the KP on Sunday, because there is going to be one hell of an atmosphere. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in an hour on Doug's channel at 9, and I'll see you tomorrow night about 10:30ish for the post-match show with Brad. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in. Everybody who's in the chat, stay safe.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
That's all, folks.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.